What's good, everyone? It's your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. So this is where we at now. So I got a situation here that I think everybody needs to listen to. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to talk about the shutdown and what's actually happening out here, who's really at fault, and things like that. So we could clear some things up here because everybody wants to sit around here and try to, you know what I'm saying, blame people that haven't even been in office for a whole year yet for shit that's been going on God knows how many decades now. These are factors. This is what leads up to things. So we're going to go here now, and we're going to listen to what some individuals have to say about this government shutdown. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
This, my friends, is why our government is still shut down.
For climate resilience in Honduras. They want to spend $13.4 million for civic engagement in Zimbabwe. They want to send $3.9 million for LGBTQI plus democracy grants in the Western Balkans. They want to spend $2.9 million of your dollars for desert locust risk reduction in the Horn of Africa. And $2 million for, quote, organizing for feminist democratic principles in Africa. We are not doing that.
Because we aren't paying for locust breeding in Malaysia or something like that. That's all.
And it's more to it than that, you know what I'm saying? Because we're not paying for, the illegals that they've brought over here the past 4 years plus and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Let's just keep this honest. With all these situations that's been going on, we need to have long memories out here. Remember the tragic situation that happened in Colorado where they took over the apartment complex, the little girl that got, stabbed at the baseball game, which is tragic. Remember the situations and things like that in New York where they took cop cars and they was living in the Roosevelt Hotel and they just decided to go in and out the Roosevelt Hotel like, rats do. And, they just was, running in and out and, committing crimes and then running into the Roosevelt Hotel for sanctuary and stuff. Man, this is crazy out here. We got to have long memories, people. We got to have long memories. Sad, but it's true. We got to have long memories. So we're going to keep going here because there's always more on the bottom line. There's always more on the bottom line.
We need to go ahead and get one thing straight. The reason that the government is still shut down has nothing to do with Republicans refusing to govern. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The House has already done its job. They've passed a clean continuing resolution called a CR to keep the government open. But over in the Senate, you see, they're busy playing political chicken with your livelihood. You need to understand this is not a game. Every single Republican senator, they've already voted, not once, not twice, not 3, 4, 5, 6. They voted 13 times to move this CR forward. And do you know how many Democrats joined them? One. John Fetterman. The one individual in the Senate that's got neurological problems is the only one that seems to care about the American people on the Democratic side. You heard that correctly. This is the hoodie-wearing Democrat from the great state of Pennsylvania. He has shown more common sense than the entire Democratic caucus combined. Now, John Thune, he has called for a vote 13 times, and every single time he's called for a vote in the Senate Democrats have said no. Why is that? Why are they so recalcitrant on this CR? It is because they do not want a clean bill. They want control, and they decide to start begging for the pork, wanting your tax dollars tied to all of their pet projects and progressive wish lists at your expense. So the next time that you hear the media say that Republicans are shutting down the government, just know they're lying to you. And they don't even have the common decency to at least get to the bottom of this, to explain in very clear and no uncertain terms who is really at fault here.
Right. Everybody is being bamboozled with this media situation. It's a whole cloud out here with this new age media. So it's so much information being tossed around and so much, you know what I'm saying, talking points and things like that being tossed around to, you know what I'm saying. If you don't have a logical thinking brain, you're going to be confused. You're going to be bamboozled. You're going to be led astray. You're going to think something is what it's not. But at the same time, though, too, you need to actually start digging. For the people that actually have logical thinking process, keep digging and you'll find out the truth. Everybody else, if you don't want to wake up or you don't want to do the things that you need to do in order to better your lives and understand who's the real factors in this position that's actually, you know, keeping you from your benefits, keeping you from your the things that you need and stuff like that, then you keep being boo-boo the fool.
So now I can say we can implicate the media. They don't care about the American people. And the Democrats, they don't care about the American people. The truth is, the Senate Democrats, they are the ones holding the government hostage. This entire shutdown is not about governance. It is about greed, power, and political theater because their ideas are just that bad. And so now, once again, the American people are the ones that have to pay the price for their performance. I'm sorry that this has had to happen, that we are 30 days into a government shutdown, but you need to contact your Democrat senators and ask them to get off the fence and vote. So come on over to my channel.
And they're not going to do it. It is what it is, though. They're not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? They're holding the line just like, you know what I'm saying, because they want what they want. They want what they want. So we're going to go here now. Shout out to Anton Daniels. You know what I'm saying? He's presenting a young lady that's talking about the same issues that we're talking about right now. And this is wild out here to me. This is wild that, you know, the Democratic Party, you know, which I voted Democrat my whole life because, you know, as a, you know, African American, technically American, you know, we were also trained for generations to do such things. But if we actually wake up and we see the history of the party that we've been voting for, you know, 60 plus years, they've never done anything. They've only kept us in turmoil and strife. And this is where we at now. But, you know, obviously there's going to be some that's going to wake up. There's going to be some that's not. And fine. Fuck it. And this is the truth. But we're here now, and we're in 2025, going into 2026. The majority, well, maybe not the majority, but it's a significant amount of Black Americans, descendants, slaves, that are waking up and seeing things that are going on now. And we know that for the longest, we've been torn apart. That's the reason why we're the state we're in now. So let's keep going. We're going to check this out. Quarters, nickels, and dimes.
Here's my political rant for the day. There is this phrase that people on the left keep saying when they keep saying Donald Trump and his rich friends or Donald Trump and his billionaire friends. Mm-hmm. It's so disingenuous. Now, keep in mind, if this were being said on the other side, I would have the same complaint. Okay. I am not someone who is like loyal to any party. I don't think we should be. I've expressed that a million times, but I do think the Democratic Party is a sinking ship right now. And there's a couple things, actually, there's a plethora of things, a whole load of things that they're doing that has destroyed their party, a once respectable party, right? One of them is this idea, it's a very socialist, Marxist ideology where they are constantly trying to point fingers to the other side and say, those are the rich people that are bad and they don't care about the little guy. And, you know, they are the classist people. It's Donald Trump and all of his billionaire friends. Did we forget? Here's where cognitive dissonance comes in, and like, people tend to get amnesia for some reason. One of the things that really turned me off from the party was like the constant lies. Like I was always fact checking on my own and I was like, oh, that was a lie. This is not real. this idea that the people on the right are like the bad rich people and the people on the left are like the people they're advocating for the working class is just so inaccurate. Did you see how much money Kamala Harris raised for her presidential run, for her campaign?
Hold on.
$2 billion in a week, if I'm not mistaken, maybe shorter than that. So when these people who are politicians on the left, when they're constantly saying Donald Trump and his rich friends, are they talking about Taylor Swift, who's a billionaire, who endorsed Kamala? Are they talking about Beyonce, who came out? Are they talking about all the multimillionaires that supported Kamala and came out to perform? Are they talking about Bill Gates? Are they like, who are these rich people? They're acting as if they are not the party of the rich.
Facts. That's a fact. And it's so funny because it's the classic crabs in the barrel mentality where they basically is dangling the carrot off of the scraps of the table. Congress continues to get paid and they hang out with the who's who and the elite, and they actually live right next to all of the people that they say that they despise, and they work with all of them behind the scenes and all of that. But their job to stay in power is to convince you that those are the bad people, even though we millionaires right now too. And they've even changed it from being and their millionaire friends to their billionaire friends. And these people just run it up. Nancy Pelosi, all of them got money. All of them maintain power. All of them is Ilhan Omar was just under attack, or that got swept under the rug right after that for how rich her husband is. Since she's been in Congress and since she's been advocating for the poor, and while they over there taking over Minneapolis. Don't believe none of this nonsense. They playing in y'all face, bro.
You look at their voter base, coastal elites are people that have money.
Yep.
Go and look at the map where most of the places were blue was like on the coast. Martha's Vineyard, New York City, Los Angeles. Yep. Obviously, not all people in those areas have money, but a lot of them do. Okay, the majority of the people that support the Democrats, look at Hollywood, not all, because there's a lot of closeted conservatives who are in Hollywood who don't want to not be allowed to live out their dreams for fear of being shunned by the mob, right?
And that's the truth. That's the truth. We've seen it in the past election. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Hollywood artists have come out low key. You know what I'm saying certain things in certain ways and stuff like that. Mel Gibson and a few others and stuff like that. It is what it is here. It is what it is. This is wild right here. And yes, nobody has time to play these games. But see, the thing of this is yes, in certain cases, I get it. Some people have livelihoods, stuff like that. But the problem is that, playing this political game will allow a lot of people to, kind of their livelihood will be destroyed. But see, though, the issue is that here in America, we have an issue with this struggle of trying to just keep, American citizens and American life the way that it's supposed to be at a decent level. Everybody's supposed to thrive over in this country. I mean, I thought a country is supposed to be together, not divided. You go to any other country, China, all these other countries and stuff like that. Those people are together. If a real situation breaks out, they're going to have each other's back over there. What are we going to do over here in America?
On the left, and so they just really keep quiet about their beliefs. But the ones who are very loud, a lot of people in Hollywood who are these very, very wealthy people, a lot of people in the tech industry. You guys, let's use our heads here. Why do they keep repeating that it's Donald Trump and his rich friends as if they are not also the people with rich friends, right? Well, the intent is to make you believe that they have your back, that they are like you, that they understand you. Have you taken a look at what Barack Obama's salary was and what he's worth? Have you taken a look at the fact that Obama's collecting residual pay for Obamacare? Does that not odd to you? What about Nancy Pelosi? What is her annual salary and how much is she worth? Well, we all know she's insider trading, right? A lot of them are, or they're funneling through NGOs, right? There's a lot of corruption and fraud happening in the government. What is Kamala Harris's salary? How much is she worth? So when Kamala is constantly saying those rich people over there, we're going to tax the rich, or Bernie Sanders is constantly saying or AOC, we're going to tax the rich, you're going to tax yourself? Is that who you're talking about? All your rich donors? This is why Donald Trump's debate with Hillary Clinton was so impactful and so effective for his campaign. Because people don't quite, Dave Chappelle shared this about like people not understanding why Donald Trump won and why he's so popular. It was because people perceived him as authentic because he was one of the few people, he's not a politician at all. He's one of the few people who we've ever seen run for presidency who is like so overtly blunt and truthful in that moment that people were like, oh, we like this guy because he gets it, right? He's not a politician. Donald Trump is a class trader. In essence, you know, if you look back, I have a long enough memory to remember when everybody loved Donald Trump. This is why this whole everybody hates Donald Trump is such a weird thing to me that I'm just like this. I have we all gotten amnesia suddenly? Hillary Clinton, they were all golfing with Donald Trump. Oprah Winfrey loved him. He was on Oprah's show. Oprah even suggested that he run for president.
Sure did. I seen the footage. Hopefully y'all have seen the footage out there. You know what I'm saying? I will find it and post it, you know what I'm saying, on my page. But I'm telling you right now, yeah, I've seen it. He was hanging out with Oprah, you know what I'm saying? All of them. All of them. And in the black community, you know what I'm saying, we had plenty of rap songs, you know what I'm saying, I want to be rich like Donald Trump. Man, plenty of the rap songs reference Donald Trump. Plenty of our rap music in the black community reference Donald Trump for his wealth and his prestige. I didn't hear them talking about, you know, in the rap music back in the day. I didn't hear them talking about Nancy Pelosi, richness. I didn't hear them talk about, you know, George Bush or fucking, you know, any other president. Period. This is crazy. You know, now all of a sudden, that Donald Trump is about family and, you know, making America, you know, a decent place because we've ran astray. We've been run amok. Now it's an issue.
Like years ago. And Donald Trump, like there's a famous interview he does with Oprah where she's like, you're sounding very presidential. Will you ever run? I mean, all these people on The View, Barbara Walters, Whoopi Goldberg, all these people are hugging him.
And at that time in that interview, even Donald Trump said at that moment, because I think he was in his, you know, late 20s, early 30s in that interview. He was like, I wouldn't run. But he retracted to a hot second. He was like, but if the country came to a place, if the country got to a place to where it was just overran with a lot of craziness and things like that. And he didn't say it in this way and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But I did watch that interview thoroughly with him and Oprah. And, you know, basically, he was like, if it came to a place in time to where America had no other choice and we were in dire straits, he would run. And this is where we at now. And a lot of these people that have been capitalizing, these ex-friends of Donald Trump and stuff like that, and I said it that way, yeah, I did, because these people were friends of Donald Trump at one point.
And praising him and they loved him, and every rapper, he was always like a staple in the black community because he was donating to Jesse Jackson's campaign to run for president. He was
Jesse Jackson's campaign. He sent the plane When Nelson Mandela was getting out of prison, he sent the plane to pick him up. Who else sent the plane to pick up Nelson Mandela? None of you black people did. None of his own black people, none of his own Africans did. Who else sent the plane to pick up Nelson Mandela fresh out of prison? Y'all crazy out here. Look, do your research.
I mean, there's documentation of Jesse Jackson thanking him for his donations. Jennifer Hudson, when her family went through that like tragedy, Donald Trump put them up and, you know, and gave them a place to live. There's so many.
Sure did. Oh, we don't have long memories out here. He sure did that. I remember that. This information is not that hard to look up, but you people are so lazy out here till you just want to believe the shit that you're being presented with off the cuff that you don't want to even do no research to figure out the real truth. This is crazy out here.
Examples, all the rappers loved him. You know, when people started, I had to ask myself, when did people start hating Donald Trump? Oh, when he ran as a Republican and he came out and said he was going to drain the swamp.
Facts. And basically they orchestrated and marketed a campaign to make it seem like he was actually the bad guy when he was the person clearly that he's always been, and he's always been trying to focus on trying to fix what's going on and what's wrong with America.
Right.
But because he went against the establishment and he didn't play his role, and thankfully he was able to buck against the establishment and still win, and now he's draining the swamp. All of a sudden it's Donald Trump and his rich friends, when all the rich friends is on the Democrat side, to be honest with you.
He debated against Hillary Clinton, and when she did the whole "you don't pay taxes," and he said, well, you don't either. Like, if you don't like the loopholes that I'm using, get rid of them. But you won't, because you and your friends are also using them. Like, it was
Facts.
so
Facts. Y'all don't remember that debate? Do y'all remember that debate? He said that Hillary Clinton had to shut it down. Her and Bill out here. Man, all right.
real. Like, so when they are constantly saying they don't like him, it's because Donald Trump has, in their mind, betrayed his other rich friends on the left. And so when they are constantly trying to get you to like, oh, he's a bad guy and all this stuff, they're doing the same things. Okay, they always have been. And so it's so strange to me when they're constantly saying that the right is the party of the rich that we must conquer. And it's like, have you seen Gavin Newsom's latest $9 million home purchase on his $107,000 or $200,000 a year salary? Guys, the math doesn't math. Don't try to make sense. It doesn't make sense. Okay. If you still think,
or JB Pritzker,
that the Democratic politicians on the left are not also rich with rich friends, you're not paying attention.
I know more rich Democrats than I do rich Republicans. Most Republicans that I know are actually solidly middle class, have figured out that they no longer want to subject themselves to the Democrat plantation, and they want the best for their family. Their values and their views are different, and that's what makes them conservative. It has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with resources. They value hard work, but more importantly, they value doing the right thing in order to get there. Most of the people that I know, even my friends that have a significant amount of money, they are Democrat. That's just the facts. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments.
Shout out to Anton, real talk, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. This is real here. And this is where we at. This is no game. Everybody will sit here and try to hold on. Let me go to big screen. Everybody wants to sit here and try to blame, Trump for all these things that have been added up to where we at now. You know what I'm saying? For all these different administrations and things like that, all this has been adding up. This is where we at now. Trump haven't even been in office a whole year yet. A whole year. But you know what I'm saying? People out there want to blame Trump for the financial situations, all this and that, the terrorists and things like that. Certain things take time to work out. And you new age people don't understand about, time and effort. When you know what I'm saying? When you're building something, it takes time to build things. Shit don't happen overnight. Not building something that's going to be solid and structured and willing to sustain and willing to, you know what I'm saying, actually, you know, be sustainable over time. Man, the whole issue here is, man, is that, you know what I'm saying, I'm sorry to tell y'all people, but the Dems, you know what I'm saying, they don't mean the best for none of America. And it's time for y'all to understand this. It's time for y'all to wake up. It's time for y'all to realize these facts. And it's no problem with that. But you know what I'm saying? You have to deal with your issues about not wanting to actually deal with facts on your own. You got to wake up. This is no game here. We're dealing with a lot of tax issues. Our tax money is going to, you know, has been going to a lot of illegals throughout the past 4 years up until now. Things like that, you know what I'm saying? Now they, you know what I'm saying, they you know, they want to keep the government shut down because they want to, you know, give free health care to, you know, illegals and stuff like that instead of Americans. And this is crazy out here. This is crazy. This is ridiculous. And we not need to stand for anything like this from our politicians, our congressmen, our legislatures, you know what I'm saying, whether they be in the state factors or in Washington or whatever. This is a tragedy that we're waking up in the 21st, deep in the 21st century, not that deep, but you know what I'm saying, in the early parts of the 21st century, and we're having to deal with these individuals that want to actually take care of people outside of hardworking Americans, give them jobs, give them trucking jobs, all this type of stuff, and they're running over people over the roads. They're deleting tax-paying American citizens on the highways. And you think this shit is sweet. They're deleting tax-paying Americans on the highways because California and all these people that gave these people legal documentations, fake legal documentations to drive 100-pound semi trucks across America. Man, stop this. But this is where we at. This is how it's going down. This is the disrespect that a lot of us are allowing here in America. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.